How are you guys doing today? Okay.
As usual.
As usual, moving on. Come on. I need some action. I can see smiles from guests. J107 looks pretty serious, but let's get smiling and let's get started. Yes, that's what I like. Now, come to think of it, in the guests, how many of y'all know about Toastmasters? Because I have been assigned the role of introducing it to y'all. So I want to know how many of y'all know about it. Can I have a show of hands, please? Yes, I can say J105, 101, a lot, 111, 104. Did you put up your hand? No? No. Okay, so I have my job half done. So that you'll all know about Toastmasters and you'll all know it's all about public speaking and leadership. Now, another way of trying to find out more about y'all, I want to know how many of y'all have sat in class and looked down whenever the teacher called out a question. Yes, I can see hands going up. Now, how many, thank you, how many of y'all have sat behind and gone back towards, hid behind somebody else when introductions are being done? Like all you had to do was say your name. Yes, I can see hands go up. And how many of y'all had opportunities that you could take, but you didn't have the confidence to step up? Hands, please. Yes. Now, this is me. What you saw in all these 3 questions was me around 5 years back. So I don't know about anybody else, but I know about myself and how things have changed so drastically different for me just because I took a step and made a leap of faith one day when asked, do you want to join a club? Now, why do you want to join a club, you might ask? So throughout my 5 years, I have come across a zillion people and their stories. Now, looking at each person in the camera, I can see J101 has pictures behind him. Now, I would like to know a story about him. Now, I can see somebody else, coming from experience. I'm sure J105 has a story to tell and an idea to share. So many of y'all have so many things to say, but there is no stage and there is no way. Now, I was lucky enough once to take a class, a whole session for TKM Engineering College, one of the deemed universities. One thing I told all my students was, I'll give you 3 minutes to 5 minutes. Present your project in the best possible way. I am the person who's going to give you your job, the job that you dreamt of. Needless to say, the whole class stood up and they wanted to have a chance to get the training. How do you do that? How do you take your public speaking skills? You might be an accomplished speaker, because I think J104 was saying that she didn't have any nervousness. I noticed that. So you might not be the person who's nervous, but at the same time, there is a way in which you can make your point across faster. How is it that we achieve that? It is not out of anything but practice. Practice, practice, practice. And how do you do it? In the most simplest way, you do it across borders in a club like this, where each member, you take a look at each one of these faces. They have a story, a different profession, and a different life. So you have an audience like no other, microcosm, that you can experiment with, find out what works, and deliver. So that is the plus point of being in a Toastmaster club. Now, I was lucky enough to interview Shashi Tharoor during the first half of our term. And what I found from his talk and what he was saying was, You need to practice public speaking. You need to practice your language skills. It might not be just English. It can be any language you want to improve upon. This is only possible if you practice. And a person like him, who has taken from UN to national to every other stage, coming to us and telling us it's his practice, daily research that he gives that makes him talk like that. No speech is effortless. I think, isn't it Nitin, Mark Twain, who said a quote to that effect?
Yes, yes.
99% work for 1% to seem like, prize. Now, it is all in joke, all in jest, but every time you're picked up, it doesn't take a Pramod or Rajay or Shobha to deliver a speech. It could be the next person, could be one of the J's here. Next person who has to present to someone, talk to someone, take up a phone, deliver a speech. It could be J103, right? So it is so sought after, this skill. Now, how do you get about it? I have a slideshow that I would like to present. The Zoom master, I hope I have share screen access. Jacob?
Yes.
Thank you. So am I visible? Can I have Shobha show her hand because she's on my screen right now? Yes, thank you. So what can Kottayam's Toastmasters do for you? Let's just have a little capsule. So we are a worldwide non-profit educational organization purely trying to concentrate on education and leadership. There are around 364,000 members, 16,000 clubs. We belong to District 121 in Region 13, spanning across the states of Kerala and Karnataka. Effective provider of dynamic, high-value, experimental communication and leadership skills. Now that I've bored you with the history, let's go on to the next one. So what do you get out of Toastmasters? It will be like you can improve your public speaking, as I already mentioned, leadership skills, practice writing speeches and presenting in a group setting, gain a competitive advantage, and all this is possible in a supporting environment. We also provide mentors. Each one of our club member becomes a mentor, helping each other grow across. So that is pretty good, right? So you don't have to be lost in a crowd. I know Rini found solace in having Shobha advise her on everything. So things like that, where your growth becomes a club. Every time you you attain an achievement, you set a goal for yourself, the club sees that you achieve it. So there is an hands-on learning environment. As soon as you become part of the club and you become a member, you get 11 paths. So what are these paths? I'll tell you about it. You can practice prepared and impromptu speeches in these. You will get opportunities to develop your leadership skills, that is by presenting as well as taking care of listening roles or any other role. Every part of the role that we have in the club is a management skill that is learned. So every time you take up a role in the club, that means your management skills become that much better. That's it. This is what Pathways Toastmaster Education Program is all about. We have 11 parts, and we have it in the print as well as through online. All of us are doing online. And you can work at your own space, and you can be assured that you will have its results. Here you have different types of, an example of the different types of paths. Each one of them concentrate on the degrees that you see in the site, that is public speaking, interpersonal, strategic leadership, management, confidence, all those. So if you see at the side of the path, they have a questionnaire in which you can take, and people, the computer will guide you on what you have to take. And after that, it'll go. And this is the evaluation sheet. You don't have to worry about all this. These are all things that come naturally as you take. This is just a sample sheet that I took. Then what will you get other than the subscription to the club? It will be Toastmaster magazine, your chance for 2 other options for careers, that is having the speech contest. You can compete and win prizes, as well as go right up to the international level. I think it was $100,000 is the winning prize, as well as, I'm not sure. Jacob, can you help me out there?
Sorry, I don't know.
How many dollars was it? 50,000, 100,000, something like that. As well as being an accredited speeches. I was just checking whether you're sleeping, Jacob. District conferences and access to the organization website. Now, after all this, how is it going to be? It is going to be 750 to 800 a month. Masala dosha, Chinese food, anything that you can do just for one meal, you can spend on yourself, and you can get it. It also goes with the chartering fees. Who to get to is, of course, our Toastmaster Ajay, who has been so nice to organize the whole program for us today. You have to complete the application, give it to him, and he is the boss. So that said, let's come back. So this said, why do I like Toastmasters so much for any age? I am one person who believes that Toastmasters can achieve and bring about bounds to anybody of any age. If it is college kids, their communication skills do improve, their interviews become easier, presentations becomes easier. And when you interview all blue chip companies across the world, now this I talk from personal experience. My daughter went for 2 blue chip companies, and both of them in the final round took up Toastmasters and actually questioned her about it, and she's got landed a job at one of them. So that said, you can understand the Toastmasters has a value in your resume. Now, what if you're an older person who wants to present? When you're an effective, when you're going to talk to a varied audience. This is not an audience with one age. This is an audience that from the youngest to the oldest. You know what will work. You know what will not work. The same can be said about the youngsters. You know how to deal with the age difference and every other difference we find. So that is done in a very safe environment where we all don't sit and judge. We decide, okay, this person needs help, we all help each other. So for instance, if you're a Toastmaster, you sort of get an entry into all the clubs in the world. All the clubs that I was talking to you about in the history class, you can actually get an entry. You just have to know which time. As a Toastmaster, you are welcome there. I had one of my mentees who was going to Canada go in for a speech for a class in Canada. And then he went on going, attending their meetings. And now when he's there, he's joining them offline. So that is the kind of friends you can make. I have another friend who has moved to Sweden. And again, the same thing. So things like this, if you want a job, edge on a job, there are Toastmasters in different companies. There are corporate Toastmasters who will help you prepare for an interview or just get a promotion. What do you need to apply for? Those kind of guidance can be got. Now, with that said, Ajay, or is it Jose, I think, who's the timer? How am I doing on time? can be summed up in 3 words: adopt, adapt, and achieve. Adopt principles, adapt to it, and achieve your goals. In Toastmasters, we sort of help each other achieve those goals, identify those goals, and achieve them. So you got to give yourself a chance. And like Abdul Kalam said, my favorite quote, if you want to burn, shine like the sun, you got to burn like the sun. So you got to want it. So with that said, I wrap up my presentation, and for anybody to quickly ask questions, the floor is open. I can see question marks and smiles.
We have a 5-minute Q&A section. Any guests or contestants, if you have any doubt regarding Toastmasters, now you can ask.
J109, you have something to ask? No? Nobody has any questions. Either I explained that fast or that, that clearly.
They are stunned by your marvelous presentation, DTM Mini.
Yeah, most probably taking a breather right now. Before
Wish to ask something.
Yes, what?
Wish to ask something, but something is preventing them.
Yeah, you can put your questions in the chat box also if you want.
I have a question.
Yes. Tell me.
Sir told that he will give the topic and we have 15 seconds to think and talk. So
Yeah.
how is it going to be done online? I mean, 15 seconds, like everyone gets just 15 seconds, right? So
Yeah.
how is it done?
Every person will be getting 15 seconds to have their point of view being taken into account. Was that the question that you asked?
No, ma'am. And after that, how do we speak? Like we can't speak at the same time, right? All of us.
No. I think there's a breakout room, right, Jacob?
All right.
Yeah. Is there a breakout room?
No, everybody will have separate chances. Like everybody will have separate topics as well. So one by one.
Separate topics. Yeah.
The topics are different.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else on Toastmasters? You caught me off guard there, J104, because I was expecting something on Toastmasters. Anything else?
Yeah, just about the Toastmasters Club, like you have said, we could enroll and it's for coaching and things like that. You'll be providing us opportunities. So it's a bit overwhelming. Everything is happening online. So how does the things work online?
See, for us, we deal with both online and offline. Before the pandemic struck, we were all together, everything was offline. But now we are moving into the offline, online, and hybrid modes. So because we realized that we need the communication skills that we are developing online too. See, most of the companies have gone online. Family has gone online. I'll tell you, my mother hasn't seen my brother for ages, but I'm sure she doesn't miss because she's meeting the whole family online. So that's what I said. It doesn't really matter. It's a time when there are social influencers online. So how do you become an influencer? You're not going to become an influencer online without this having some weightage. So this has tremendous amount of weightage, especially now that interviews are also for jobs as well as vivas are being held online. So you do realize your online persona is so important. We do stand-up presentations, we do research and presentation, how we can do a massive bulk of information to 5-minute speeches. So those are all training that is done by yourself and by the club. So we don't sit there behind you and say, "Yay, you got to lower this, you got to do this." We give you the way. This is the way it is done. We give you a person to help you out, like abroad. This is the way you're going to do it. So this is your freedom to express yourself. And you will get that confidence the more you express yourself within these four walls of the screen, you will be able to achieve more. Now, we have contest speakers here who are Nitin as well as Shobha, who had done offline presentations on stage. The same people now present online and do get ahead. So people, you have to understand the camera is an eye by itself. How do you deal with an audience which is fully half off camera? You can't expect everybody to be on camera all the time. So in Toastmasters, we are learning that also, how to talk to a whole audience that out of 300, 150, 150, 120, you name it, the number can be bigger, will be offline. I mean, the TV screen will be off. You'll just see screens of names. So in a college that I went to, there was one screen full of faces and the rest, 300 names were all blacked out. So this is what happens in college. This happens in Toastmasters. But if you're the presenter, how do you deal with it? You got to. So you have presentations like that also. Yes, please, J110. I'm sorry, I can't refer to your names.
I'm Dennis.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Actually, I have a doubt because Toastmasters always focus on the English communication.
Yeah.
But nowadays, everybody is facing the main problem is they are scared to speak in English. Okay. If it is 1 minute or 10 minutes, whatever it is. So for newcomers, so what is your way, how they will come in front if they are embarrassed to talk in English?
See, I'll tell you something. I can just give you a very good example. Like I know a lot of people who can read English fast, but who can't communicate in English. So when you are on the Toastmaster stage, when you take up a speech, you can make all the mistakes. We have evaluators who will give you a point by point evaluation on how to improve your English also. If you're in an English Toastmaster club, let me just correct you. There are a lot of languages for Toastmasters. We have adopted English. This is an English Toastmaster club. There's English Malayalam, there's Malayalam Hindi. There's a whole lot of this in particular is an English improving club. So, sorry, you're muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry. Okay. What about Kottayam Toastmasters? It is Malayalam and English, only English?
No, it's English. It's total English, and you improve your English skills in every meeting. So, how are you going to?
That's what I asked. Initial, one person is coming to your Toastmasters. He is very, scared to speak in English.
Yeah.
So you people are only speak in English. Then how he will feel?
No, it doesn't really come up like that. We have a grammarian role. Okay, it is not to intimidate that the sequence that we are speaking in English. We are trying to improve our English. Okay, so when you're trying to improve your English, how is it possible if you don't talk, if you don't write, if you don't write a speech, when you're writing a speech and when you're presenting a speech, there's a big difference. Because
so that means you are providing so many trainings for that purpose.
Yes, the Pathways program provides all those, all the training. That's what I was telling you about. The Pathways is levels, like a gaming cell, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So all that is taught inside this. We have a grammarian role, which is there throughout in every meeting where a word is introduced. That person will listen and understand where you can improve. Then we have the evaluator for each speech.
So
even that person will.
You are saying for the pathways.
This is for everybody.
Online, right? That is online, right?
You get the educational material online. You can have an option of getting it into print. Only if you're a member do you have access to it.
Okay.
You can't Google it.
I don't know. So, Anu ma'am wants to say something.
Yes, Anu, please.
Yeah, I like to add to something what Minimum has said already. We have some small roles like surgeon at arms, timer, counter. So if for a beginner who is not very confident in English, they can start with that roles. Surgeon at arms can just read out from the plain text. So for a beginner, it will be very comfortable to come on stage just by reading. After that, they can take a timer role where the timer has to just tell this is the time that this person has taken. So in that way, they can slowly come out, and then after that, they can go for the 2-minute table topics for where they can talk just for 2 minutes, and slowly they will improve in that way.
Okay, if you support that way, then it is fine. Otherwise,
Yes,
it is
it
very.
is. It is. There's a lot of support in the system. What I would advise you to do is come back for an ordinary meeting and see how everybody supports each other.
Okay, we'll
Then
see.
you will know that the safe environment the environment itself is for each person to improve. Like Anu said, it's a small step, but it's a big step for the person. So every time he or she comes into the room, every one of us did not start confident.
Yeah, mistakes happens for everybody, so we have to support each other.
Yes, we do. This Toastmasters is all about supporting each other through evaluation and camaraderie. So don't worry about that part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you. Anybody else? If not, I will take it offline. I don't want to delay further.